Now, our guest co-host for tonight, yes, she's a wonderful one. She knows all the local hangouts and the cultural scene of Dubai like the back of her hand. She's been here for years, she's grown up here. She is the founder of Wonder with Nada, and it is Nada Badran. What's good, Nada?
What an introduction.
Nada Badran, it's your name, it's a legendary name.
Oh, thank you. And you're right, I am absolutely a UAE fossil, walking GPS, and I do curate tours and experiences here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Fantastic. So how have you seen the evolution of your tours, like from when you first started and people getting involved in them?
Oh gosh, I mean, it is nothing like when I first started. I mean, the entire tour landscape has also changed. So I can tell you my itineraries have changed over and over, hopefully for the better, but simply because new spots keep opening up. People, of course, want to see different things. So I've definitely had to kind of reiterate the styles that I kind of go with and come up with something that is memorable.
So integration with transport, how does that work?
Transport, I mean, depending on the itinerary, of course. So if it's somewhere further out, whether it's like a trip towards like the Dubai downtown side of the city, then we've got a whole bus that's kind of taking us around, lugging us from one place to the next. And of course, Abu Dhabi would be a road trip, a full-on road trip.
Nice.
Yeah, I call it the Wander Express.
All right, I like that.
Nada, you mentioned that there are a lot of new stuff or new places that keep coming up, but what about old Dubai? What kind of, or old Abu Dhabi even, what kind of tours do you have that would feature more of the cultural side of things and maybe the historical places as well?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that in terms of, just the history and the culture, every city needs a cultural compass, and what I've put together or designed are tours that take people to exactly that. These historic landmarks where people actually get to learn about the culture, the history, how, for instance, Dubai transformed from a desert to a destination. And I follow a very strict philosophy, which is actually about Middle Eastern hospitality. And there's this Arabian proverb that actually says, when you enter a house, you enter as a prince. When you sit down, you are a prisoner. And when you leave, you are a poet. And that basically is the idea that when you actually come to visit, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant, you are absolutely treated like royalty, right? Given the red carpet treatment and all. And then when you sit down, it's, do you want more food? Do you want more tea? Are you comfortable? We want to make sure that you are, of course, well taken care of. And of course you can leave, but you don't want to. But if you do, then you're sitting there singing sonnets about the hospitality that you've just received.
Love it.
So I think that that really captures the spirit of welcome, and that's something that I hope to embody in my tours.
And it's so important as well to show the cultural side of Dubai because people around the world, maybe they don't have as much exposure to it. So walk us through one of your tours. Pick your favorite one and tell us how it would start and where it would end.
Sure, so I'll start with the very first tour that I created and has changed, like I said. So we do start off in the area called Al Shindaga. And so that's over by the historic district, by the creek. So people actually get to go into historic homes. Some have been built in the late 1800s. And they understand a little bit about the architecture, the family, how people would live together in small neighborhoods, very tight-knit. We go through, ancient practices, traditions, arts and crafts that the women would sit there and practice. Then we move on to the creek, and the creek basically takes us to the souks, and now those are the markets, the spice and the gold, and that's where you have to practice your haggling skills. By the time you're done with me, you are a pro. We get to see the glitz, the glamour of the gold souk, where you're almost blinded by the amount of jewelry that's all in one place. And then once we're done, we actually then head to the El Fahidi Historic District, where we again explore the wind towers, the architecture, get to learn about the houses and when they were built, and finish off with a very delicious meal. All right?
Beautiful. So what's some of the misconceptions that people have when they come onto your tour and then you just wow them with, we didn't expect this?
So I would say people are just overwhelmed by how modern the city is, right? Like you walk in and you see this place that literally looks so futuristic that you would probably wonder, how was this a desert 45, 50 years back? And so I do tend to then have to paint this picture of the journey, right? Explaining to them what were the key points, what happened, when was the creek dredged, when did the airport open, Emirates Airlines, and that's of course something that's put us at the center of the world. And so when we kind of go through those historic moments, people then get a better idea, it becomes more clear. And yeah, that's pretty much how we go around and about it.
But now let's move on to the new. When it comes to all these new places that we have here in Dubai, what do you think is the most sought after landmark location for tourists?
Gosh, these days it's the Museum of the Future. I mean, every single guest who's coming to visit Dubai is asking me how I can get them tickets. And I'm like, guys, no affiliation. I just simply encourage people to go, of course, but those tickets need to be booked at least a month in advance.
Really?
So, yep, ever since the attraction is open, it's definitely been fully booked. So I think that that's just something people need to, plan in advance. Otherwise, people, of course, are just very keen to go see Burj Khalifa. You've probably seen the queues. I mean, they are all throughout the mall, especially at the sunset hour, right? That's definitely the golden moment everyone wants to capture. And in terms of just, the rest of the city, everyone loves to go out to the desert, right? Go and ride the camels. Landmarks, of course, are also plenty, aside from the Museum of the Future, the Dubai Opera, and they're currently playing so many great shows and performances. And then, of course, they would probably, want to just go by the beaches and, spend time laying on the sand and enjoying their vacations.
Are you noticing now that I think since Expo, so many people from around the world came to this city to experience one of these biggest events? Are you seeing people coming from further afield for specific events like art festivals, concerts, or special events that we're having here?
Absolutely. So I get a lot of repeat guests who are here specifically for art festivals. They're probably art collectors and maybe perhaps even work in museums back home. And so what they want to do is they want to come here and explore the local art scene, which is incredibly dynamic, right? That same spirit of welcome that I also bring to my tours is one that I think they feel throughout the art festivals that take place here in Dubai and in the UAE. So I would say if people are coming here, it's usually for about a week's time, and they're kind of dedicating their time to exploring more of these, international art festivals, the street markets and fairs. And of course, we have one of the greatest ones coming up, and that's the Quoz Arts Fest. This takes place every year, and it is a wonderful way to experience the local culture. You get to see these installations that are, very immersive. You get to also watch live performances that really kind of, sit in your bones.
It's a special one. And
Absolutely.
we're going to be talking about that later on in the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very, very special one.
Oh, that's great.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
I was going to
say quickly though, just before, if you need any VIPs that need access in the future,
Do you have?
knows a man.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
a
Okay.
woman knows a man.
That's what we call wasta here.
Indeed, so.
And networking is happening live on the show. Now, to hold that thought about the Quoz Festival, because we are going to be talking about it very, very soon. We're going to be finding out about the entire lineup, the food, as well as the artists who are all gearing up for this weekend's Quoz Arts Fest. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there.